See you later is the message title. Comes from that last little piece right there when we just heard. When the devil had finished every test, he departed from him until an opportune time, which means it's not over. It's not over for Jesus, and it's not over for us. This is the first Sunday of the season that we in the church lift up as Lent. A time for fasting for those who choose, and for fish dinners. I went out on Friday night, and if you weren't here in town, trust me, the place was packed with people. I drove by the Legion. This was around 6. The place was packed with people. When I glanced when I drove by, it was standing room. I don't know what they were all doing, except I know for one thing, fish. And I think it was pretty much all you could eat kind of a thing. So our traditions that we have and that we see during this season of Lent. And we begin it by thinking about what I just read, hopefully, prayerfully. The temptations of Jesus, but also the temptations that we deal with in the world in which we live. Gabe is here to engage us with the challenges, but also the playfulness of camp. Camping is, if you will, in part, spring cleaning for the soul. Spring cleaning for our lives. It's a way to learn together playfully, as Gabe so well put. And sometimes we, on Sunday mornings, and sometimes during a finance meeting or an SPRC meeting, it's a little bit of a stretch to find some fun, isn't it? I have to go to another council meeting. Wonder how long it's going to be. Is it going to be an hour and a half? I really don't want to go tonight. Because we've lost touch with that playfulness that the Spirit invites us to engage with. And the playfulness even in working the business of the church, which we must do. To make sure the lights are on, the carpets are clean, the pews are dusted. These are the realities. But also we lose sometimes that sense of play that we need to have, we must have. In this beginning of Lent, I want you to think about something too. You can turn to page 230 in your hymnals. On page 230 in the hymnals, or rather hymn number 230. O little town of Bethlehem, Christmas. It wasn't that long ago we were singing songs such as this. And that's what brings us here in Lent. We've been through the season of Epiphany, and now we are starting to hit the ground a little bit with the reality of this coming of life itself. We were fully engaged at that point in time with great joy and playfulness, O little town of Bethlehem, and we just really enwrapped ourselves in that, around the Christmas trees, around that celebration of family and friends. But now we are given the story from the Gospel of Luke and the others that Jesus is led into the wilderness to be tempted with the realities of the days, the reality of life. And we are invited to take that journey with Jesus, to understand what it takes to truly be a follower of Christ. What does it take to actually be, and again going back to Gabe and his message to the children, to the young ones, that light for the world. We can't enter into this with foolish hearts and foolish minds. The reality, it is not easy to be that light in this world. It is difficult. We are engaged with a sin, not only of ourselves, but also of the structures of the world in which we live. Some might refer to it as a generational sin or a structural sin that as individuals we participate in by either ignoring or acknowledging it. This afternoon at Salem United Methodist Church, one of our sister churches in the Iowa Annual Conference, a lot of us will gather together to hear our leader for the Iowa Annual Conference, our Bishop, Lori Haller, speak to us. And we will be looking for, and we will be hoping for, a sense of hope and guidance from her. And I know that she will bring that message of hope and guidance. We in the United Methodist Church, we can't be ignorant of the fact that we have a sense of brokenness at the moment. It's like we're in the wilderness with Jesus himself right now, standing on the pinnacle. What can be done? Where are we going? How can we move forward? We here at Solon, as I've told you before, we need to be doing the ministry that we've called to do, and we will. We can't be so engaged with the greater issues as to lose sight of the down-to-earth points of gathering together for council meetings, trustees meetings, finance meetings, sharing communion with one another, and sticking with our plan and our goals of sharing God's world in the real world. God allows things to be tested, and we ourselves to be tested from time to time. I myself have found myself looking at times for comfort when the world gets a little bit pressing in around me. I remember back to when I first became a Christian. That is when I first truly engaged and identified as a follower of Christ. And there was a sense of great joy. But then those feelings started to drift away a little bit. I began to lose my sense of joy and faith. I began to look for things such as a good bullet point to reaffirm who I am. But even those are elusive. Life is messy, isn't it? Life is just messy. You know, those bullet points go from like point A, B, C, D, E, and we think they should follow just in that way. A, B, but they don't, do they? They kind of drift around and roam around, as our life does. Part of me in days like this, as we begin the season of Lent, I think of Jesus taking that nap in the boat. Remember that story? Here he is, laying down, all cuddled up, snug as a bug in a rug. And the disciples are running around because the ship is being tossed and turned and thrown about. And they wake him up and say, Master, Master, there's a storm. And do you remember what he said? Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. On Wednesday night, we read from the prophet Joel, who said to us, even now, says the Lord, return to me with all of your heart. Return to me. How do we do that? Let's turn again, as I mentioned earlier, to hymn number 230. And we are going to sing this together, a cappella. I'm not going to ask Donna because I never gave her any forewarning whatsoever. Oh, you're actually going to? You will? Oh. Oh, little town of Bethlehem. And as we are singing this Christmas song in Lent, think about this. This is why our Master came. At the beginning, we were all full of great joy because his little baby and the innocence. Now we're facing the reality of the day-to-day struggles of how do we find that sense of joy when we're sitting in a council meeting. As great as Kim is a leader right now in the council, she struggles too, I know, to make it exciting, and because she too, I'm sure at times, probably going like, boy, Mike, you know, I've got another council meeting tonight. Yippee! And you know what? That's not any different than every single council leader I've ever had over the years. It's not easy. But we can, and again, going back to Kate, we can find some joy and some sense of energy in the church if we but look for it. And remember things such as this. Donna? Never forget, my sister.